Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So, I am going to do one of my pearl pour, dirty pour combinations. You know that beautiful one I did in emerald, and then I did the one in amethyst, which is this one. It's hard to really see the metallics in the camera. So I've decided to do another one, but the difference is I'm using extreme sheen. So I wanted to give this a test run because a lot of people can get hold of extreme sheen easier than they can the decoart metallics in the Americana, just because these seem to be quite popular. So what I have done is I'm doing one in sterling silver and sapphire. So I'm going to have beautiful sapphire pearls. Ooh, super happy about this one. So I'm hoping I've got my mixture right, because these are a little bit different thickness to the decoart Americana metallics. So what I did is, with the sterling silver, I thought there was a little bit more in the container than there was. So there was only 8 grams of paint. So then I added 5 grams of Australian floetrol. So there's not very much in the silver, and it actually looks very pearl colour and not so silvery. Not too sure why. It's just how it's kind of mixed in. So that is the sterling silver. So because there wasn't very much of this, I decided to add extra of this one. But this one was heaps thicker than normal, the other decoart extreme sheens. So I put in 30 grams of paint, but I ended up putting in 40 grams of floetrol. So I did a little bit more than 1-to-1, just because it was really thick. It still feels a little bit thick, but I don't want to thin it too much more. I'm just really hoping that I get virtually a whole sapphire pearls come through. So that's them. Easier to get hold of, well, relatively easy. The 24K gold always runs out, but sometimes you can get some colours. So mix and match, buy different colours and try it out. So that is the plan. Now, I also have my black base, which is 70 grams of marte black and 140 grams of Australian floetrol. So even this feels a little bit thick, but maybe that's just because I used thinner paints in my last pour or so, that, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head. So I went to go buy more of my paper cups, and they don't sell them anymore at the place I got them from. So I managed to get these ones, but I don't know, they're a little bit, they're like double walled cup and everything. So yeah, I only got like 5 cups because they weren't cheap, but I wanted a paper cup so I could pour it out as a spout. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour half of this black into the cup. Because this cup was just way too full. Now, this is the sterling silver, which there is not a lot of. So bear that in mind when I'm pouring it in. Don't go, oh my God, that wasn't very much. So from a height, and make it sink down into it. Now that it's dripping, it sits on top, so you can come lower and just get the rest out. I'm going to try and get every drop out because there's not a lot in there. I just want some silver ones in there for contrast for the blue. Just makes the blue set off a little bit more, having that second colour of pearls in there. Now, I may just add a tad bit more black. Didn't really do anything because the the silver sat on top and rose up with it. So now let's pour this in from a height and make it sink. Excellent. Oh, this colour looks beautiful, especially against that black. So because these pearls come up through the colour, you kind of lose a lot of the black, because so you end up just getting mostly pearls, which is why it doesn't matter so much that I have a totally black base. I will actually try it one day with a different base and see how that turns out. Black's always just a really good contrasting colour. Okay, can't you see how beautiful that blue is? And you want to see in the cup? Gorgeous. Now we just want to put the rest of this black in. And if you can, scrape your cup out. There's a lot of paint that sits in that cup. You don't want to waste it. Alrighty, now I've got paint on my fingers. Look how dirty my hands have gotten. Oh well. So, getting my gloves on now. The warmer it gets, the harder it is for me to get my gloves on. So now I'm just going to bend this for a spout. Not as easy in this cup. Probably because it's double thickness. Now, I'm going to double make sure I'm recording, because if I don't want to miss this. Yep, I'm recording and I'm in frame. Perfect. Now, I don't want any of the metallic to sit on top, otherwise it will float on top. I want it to sink and make pearls. So, I'm not going to pour from super low. I'm going to pour up a little bit higher. And really let the paint sink into each other. It is going to create more bubbles, but that doesn't matter. And as you can see, you don't have to do it super slow. You just need to get the paint out of the cup. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this here for about 30 seconds just to make sure I get the rest of this paint out. Oh, it's looking so cool already. Now, I will be using a corner catcher tonight because I don't want too much of the pearl colours to sink off the canvas. I can see the blue on the black already, and it is amazing. Alrighty, I can't. Whoops, a little drip. There we go. Oh, I love the pearls inside the cup. So I'm just going to tilt it this way slightly, just because it's close to this end. Once it gets close to that end, I'll let it go, and it will fall back into position. Got to get rid of some of these bubbles. Okay. I have to stop now because my paint's going over the edge. So I'm going to tilt it this way to try to hopefully, prevent it from going further over. I'm going to come back this way. All right. Now we are going to just maneuver it slowly-ish. Try and get it into that corner without losing too much over the sides. You can use a bigger corner catcher if you like. I probably am using one a little bit small. All right, over the corner, back, then take the corner catcher off. Let it come down to the middle. Put your corner catcher on. Tilt this way. Maneuvering your canvas so you don't lose too much over the edges. Into the corner, come on quickly. Okay, there you go. Then take the corner catcher off. Let the paint come down this end. Now remember, I am using Extreme Sheen, not my normal paint, so it may behave a little bit differently. I'm not 100% sure. Now, this corner, into the corner, come back, take the corner catcher off. And now the last one. Oops. Now hold underneath the canvas. In the corner, has it got it there? Now it has. Okay, bring it back. Take that corner catcher off. Okay, now I don't need this corner catcher anymore, so I'm going to move it over here out of my way. Now what I want to do is I just want to move the paint around, hold it like that, so it rubs over itself. I'm not really tipping anything off. If there's anything ugly you don't want, tip it off now. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving the paint from side to side, up and down a bit. Sorry if I'm off camera. I can't monitor everything at once. And we're just causing a little bit of friction. Now, if you feel like some part of your canvas is stretching too much and it's starting to look ugly, stop tilting. Because after a while, certain parts start catching underneath and they don't want to move very much, like it's starting to do now. So with my thumb, this area here didn't want to move, but this area here did. So I was going to elongate it too much into that corner. Let's see if I can try a little bit. Can you see how part of it's moving but the other part isn't? It's starting to now. Yeah, you just got to be careful because once you overstretch something, that's it. You're stuck with that being stretched. Now, I think I may leave it like that. Now, check my corners. Okay, there's a white patch on this one corner. That side's fine. Little tiny white patch on that corner. Just use the black that's sitting on your fingers. A little bit of black on that corner. And just a tad on that corner. So it's usually just at the very bottom corner where your corner catcher was sitting, kind of preventing the paint from going over. Once you got rid of that, then you're all good. So I am going to take my gloves off. They are getting in my way. Now, look how awesome this is already, and it hasn't even had time to settle in. So because there wasn't much silver, the silver's kind of compiled itself over this corner. But then that is given, and there's a little bit up here, but then that's given this whole side here for this sapphire to come through. And see how since I've been moving it, these little pearls, or I love them because they look like pebble shapes. They're awesome. Before I do too much, but I'm going to pop these bubbles. So just get the blowtorch out. Don't keep it in one spot for very long. I'm just kind of whizzing over it. And if you don't feel comfortable using a blowtorch, don't do it. Yeah, if you don't want to use a blowtorch, don't do it. You have to be comfortable with the tools that you use. If you don't feel comfortable with that tool, then you're more likely to do something wrong. And I don't want anyone to get hurt by using a tool that they don't feel comfortable using. So keep that in mind. Don't always do something just because somebody on the video that you're watching does it, or because they say to do it. Do what you feel comfortable with. That's the best advice I can give you. Now I am going to scrape the bottom, because I don't want these pearls to stretch too much by getting pulled over the edge. And it's also a really good idea to do it, because now that I've done it once, I can watch to see what side seems to want to drip again, and then you know that that side is slightly uneven, or there's a lot of paint on that area. So now this is even. There's no drips. In 5 minutes I'll have a look, and if I can see drips coming off that side, I know the paint's gonna, the whole picture will move that way slightly. If it's dripping this side, it will pull that down. I might lose my silver. If it's on that side, it will pull that way. And you work it out that by watching what it's doing. But what we're going to do now is we are going to pause it and let these pearls settle in, develop, do their own thing. But this sapphire is so beautiful. And I love it how I've got this silver corner and then this sapphire area. It's kind of, it gives it a different interest. So you could do this all in one color, but by having the two different colors, it gives you something else to look at. It kind of adds the interest. And even though the silver's not all through it, it's just in one area, absolutely fine. Don't worry about that. That is just making this unique, because every pour will be different, and don't expect to get the same results every time. You get similar results, and I'm happy that this worked out using extreme sheen paints and not my normal Americana that I use. So this gives you more options. If you can't get certain colors in this, you might be able to get them in these. I actually wasn't sure whether to do the sapphire, or there was one called, I think it was blue tourmaline, which is like a light blue sapphire type of color. Beautiful. It's another gemstone color. So, but yeah, each time you do it, pick a different color, make a nice little series of them or something, or you can do that many different things. But I love this. We're going to pause it and let it settle in, and we will come back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, we're back. So it's been probably 10 minutes. They've just developed a little bit more. Hasn't really changed too much, but absolutely stunning blue. Kind of changes its tone, so it's really strong through here and across here and in the corner, and the rest is kind of blended with the black and has made it a little bit of a it's hard to explain. It's just not as it's not as jumpy in your face, but that's what makes it interesting. Same with over here. You've got that real strong silver there, which it actually is coming out a little bit white. I wonder whether it's because it was the bottom of the container, whether the pigment, I'd used up most of the actual silver pigment and it was a little bit white. But it's still silvery, but it's like a silvery white, more like a pearl than an actual sterling silver. But I love this. I'm super happy. The black gives it contrast, the pearls jump at you, and the colours are stunning. You may not be able to see it in the camera as good as I can see it. That's what happens with cameras sometimes. So let's go down for a close-up. Okay, there we go. Look at that blue. So we've got the nice sterling silver, which looks more like a pearl. Got the stunning strong blue ring going around with pearls up there. And there's colour all over it. Even down here where it looks a little bit pale. It's not pale, it's just the lighting, how it picks it up. It's not as strong as there, but it's definitely got colour in it. But I'm so happy with this. This is beautiful. So let's have a look how blue this is. Yeah, the camera's still not showing the proper blue. Don't know how to achieve that. Sometimes putting your finger in there makes it darker. And look, blue bubbles on the side. See how you got the strong ones and then you got the paler ones going through. And that's adds so much interest. You got these down here. Come across where the sterling silver is. And see how you got the blue that kind of pushes into it, but it's not really dominating it or anything. It's kind of left it, and then you got a little bit of mixture over here. Some silver there with the blue, and up here that's a big bit of silver. Ooh, oh my goodness. That's okay. The paint will settle into that. How could I do that? That's okay. The paint is kind of sinking into that little spot. Yeah, as you can see now. Oh, God. Keep my fingers out. Oh, I can only laugh, can't I? There's no point crying. It's hard to show, but can you see how metallic-y it is? Shimmery? Not really. We can to a degree, but not 100%. But there we go. Awesome, awesome pour. Super happy. I hope you really enjoyed watching this, and I can't wait to get more out because I've actually got a lot of the different colours in these. I tend to buy like 1 or 2 of each colour just so I can have a test run and see what they look like. But yeah, super cool. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So comment, like, and share my videos. Really helps me out. A lot of more people that get to see them. People might want to subscribe or try and copy my art, and then I get to see what others do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. So have a good night, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow for another pour. All right, bye.